Hi everyone, my name is Jessica Markowitz. I'm an independent Cincy family director with Cincy Family, and my story actually started out a long time ago when I was really little, and I realized that everything that I've done from when I was a kid all the way up till to this day, it all basically linked up to where I am today. And it's the same thing for all of you if you really take the time to really look back at where you are from today all the way back when you were younger, a kid. Because we know that from age 1 to 5 is really what molds who you are going to be as a human being and an adult. And which brings me back to my childhood. When I was almost 4 years old, I guess I was about to turn 4, my father was killed. He was hit by a car, and unfortunately, he was an alcoholic, and he went to, I believe the story is correct, that he was going to get his paycheck because his car was in the shop, so he decided to walk to his job and pick up his paycheck, thinking that's smart. Oh, well, I'm just walking, who cares? Well, he ended up walking the middle of the street and getting hit by a car. And the person that actually hit him was an 18-year-old kid. And I can't imagine what that kid had to go through his whole life thinking, wow, I killed this man and he had 4 kids at home, and so I always think about that guy of, even though it wasn't his fault at all, it was a green light and he didn't expect this guy to come out in front of him. So, but I always think about that. Like, that's something this boy had to live with his whole life, but hopefully it didn't harm him too much, and he knew within him it wasn't his fault. But anyways, that impacted me tremendously, obviously, even at 3.5 years old, because I realized that early in life how fast life can be taken from you. How you don't know when the next day is, if tomorrow's even going to come. And when I was older, my sisters and my mom and my brother, they shared with me a journal that my dad had written. I guess he journaled every night, and I guess about the day before or within the same week, he had journaled about what was going on in his life. And he said that he was really stressed out that he couldn't afford to get my sisters their birthday presents. They're twins. And unfortunately, their birthday was on the day of his funeral. And so what that told me is he was stressing about something that wasn't in his control. And but it was something that all parents do. We all worry about if we can provide for our family, and especially at their birthday. We want to be able to give them what they deserve, what we feel that would make them happy. And so I can imagine the pain he was going through because he didn't have the money to provide. I guess he wanted to get them a stereo, and it was something that he just couldn't do. So he was really upset about it. Well, 3 months before he passed, he had ended up taking out an insurance plan for the family or himself. And to be honest with you, it was just ironic that it's like, I don't know if he just felt like his time was going to be coming soon or what it was, but thank God he did. He was only 35, and he basically set us up, me and my sisters and brother, to have some money put aside for when we turned 18 in order to hopefully go to college and do what was good for us for it. And it also was able to help us get back on our feet and help my mom a little when she, since she was left with 4 kids to raise by herself. But it shows how much writing things down and journaling what you feel. There's a couple reasons that showed me that it makes sense that, one, you're recording your thoughts. And so, God forbid if the next day is your last, or today's your last day, people will know who you are and what you were really feeling and experiencing. And so I thought that was really interesting that we have that forever. We could look back and see what he was thinking and experiencing. And it's just, and you can get to know somebody that you really cared about, or they can get to know you in a way that maybe you've never shared with them. So getting back to me, that experience really made me realize in life how this isn't, I'm going to quote from the book that I just got done reading, which I recommend to everybody, The Right Questions, Debbie Ford. And unfortunately, I just found out she just passed away, and I was really excited to maybe want to do, like, go to a book signing or something one day, because this book just literally changed my life recently. But anyways, she said, this isn't a dress rehearsal. This is life. And that hit me so hard, because I realized that that's what impacted me when my father died, so much of the things that I've done in my past, that I realized that we only have one chance. And so all the things that I've done in my life that my family, my friends used to think that I was nuts. Like, how could you do that? Like, you don't know what's going to happen. And something deep inside me always said, you know what? Why not? I believe in myself enough that if somebody else is doing this, why can't I do it? So I know that's a thought process that not very many people can naturally have. And honestly, to this day, I still don't know why I'm like that I tend to believe that I'm worth to have what everybody else has that I want in my life. And I wish and pray every day that people would feel the same way, because everybody has the chance to make their dreams come true. Why would one person and not the other? I still don't have that answer, because I don't believe that that's the truth. I think I know everybody has the opportunity to make their dreams come true. It's just whether you're willing to do it. And one of the examples I'll tell you, like in my past, is when I grew up wanting to be a singer and a dancer. That was just, I loved to sing. I loved to dance. It was just something that was natural for me. And I'll be honest with you, I never really shared the singing side with my family. And so when I was 20 years old, I literally told my mom I was quitting my job to go be a backup vocalist and dancer in a show in Laughlin, Nevada. She kind of looked at me with like I had two heads, like, where does this coming from? I didn't know you can sing. And I guess I was maybe afraid for them to tell me that they didn't like the way I sang, even though everybody around me that I did share my voice with, they said that I was great and I should, do it professionally. And so I guess my opinion of my family was so much more that I couldn't bear for them to say that I wasn't as good as I thought I was, or that everybody else was saying. So I never shared it with them, which is sad. But anyways, when I told her this, my whole family was like, what are you doing? But the way I looked at it was, this is my dream. And if I don't go and try to do this, how will I know if this is truly my destiny? So the only way I'd rather fail trying than fail because I didn't try. So I did. I quit my job and I went. I didn't know anybody in the cast. I didn't know where I was going, what I'd be doing. All I knew is that I had the opportunity, and so I went. And it was one of the best experiences I've ever had in my life. I felt like I was on vacation for 6 months straight, living in a hotel room. That's because we got all the people in the cast got put up in a hotel room. And the relationships I built from this cast were the best I've ever had. We were all just this big group that shared experiences, shared passion. We all loved to sing and music and dancing. And it was, for once, I felt like a part of something, and that I was surrounding myself with like-minded people that loved music and expressed themselves through music. And I learned so much from them. Some of the cast members were a lot younger than I was. They were, like, this one brilliant guy was 17 years old, and he was just a prodigy. I mean, he played every instrument, sang beautifully. I mean, just amazing. And I learned so much from him. And so I look back and say, if I never took that chance, I never would have experienced it. And I remember being on stage twice a night. We had an hour show twice a night. Literally just singing and talking to myself and talking to God, saying, thank you for this moment. Like, if this show closes tomorrow, I could literally say, thank you, God, for this moment. I'm living my dream right now. I have people paying to come and see me sing. And then it even went further because of my belief. When they needed a headliner to fill in, it was an impersonator show. I said, I'll do it. I don't know who I'm going to impersonate, but if you need me to, I'll do it. And I did it. I impersonated Debbie Harry from Blondie, which totally isn't my type of music, but I did it, and it was so much fun. So I went from just taking a chance to being a headliner in a show, and it was just the most amazing experience ever, literally. And I can look back and say that I lived my dream, that dream at the time. As I did it, I realized it really wasn't my long-term dream. I didn't want to be like a movie star or a singer that, that people like big time. But I was able to say I had a dream at that point and I lived it. And I can literally say that there's no regrets. I don't have to live my life saying, oh, I wonder, or I wish I did. I could say, I'm so glad I did that. And everything that linked from that moment on molded me into who I am today, because I experienced success, because I believed in myself enough to get out there and do it. And no, I didn't become some famous singer, but I realized in that show that that's not really what I wanted. I wanted to be able to challenge myself to see if I believe and I want enough to do this, if I just take the steps, can I do it? And I proved to myself that I could, and I did. And so from that moment on, at 20 years old, the show ended like I was about almost going to be 22. So, or actually I was 21 when I started it. I'm sorry. I realized that, wait a minute, it's so simple. If you just do it, if you take the steps, it'll happen. And so when I joined Scentsy, which is my company, I realized that you don't have to reinvent the wheel. This is an established company with an amazing product that I was so passionate about, because, let me rewind, when I was 7, our home burned down in front of our eyes. And my father's memories were in that home. His trophies, his jackets, his pictures. I didn't expect I was going to cry. But I remember seeing the fire just burning my memories down. And looking to my right, seeing my mom beside herself because she thought my sister was in that house. I can see it vividly, seeing her bending over practically backwards, saying, oh my God, my baby. And so that was engraved in my head forever. And so when I came across this company that takes fire out of people's homes, but you're able to still enjoy the beauty and the products that create memories off of smell. I remember smelling the scents for the first time and saying, oh my God, this reminds me of my grandma's house, which is a dear part of my life, is my grandma's house, my grandma's house. I used to visit in the summertime. I used to go stay with them. And so I said, there's something to this. And then all the people that it brought into my life by going to these parties. At the time that I joined, I was a stay-at-home mom. I lost my job. I had really nothing. I went from achieving a lot to, being a headliner in a show, and, and then I went on to another type of performing in as like I got the show closed very fast, so I needed to find a job really fast. So I went to become a go-go dancer in Las Vegas, where I was from, just freelance styling, dancing. And then they asked me to be an aerialist. And so that was so creative and different and challenging. And my dad was an actual gymnastic teacher. So I was like, hey, maybe I have it in me. And I ended up being really good at it because I was flexible and tiny and strong. And so it worked out really well. And that was another accomplishment. And I met my husband there, which I never expect to meet. At that point in my life, I never thought I'd ever meet anybody that I would truly connect with. I'm going to have to end this right now, and then I'm going to continue on because I only get 15 minutes per video on YouTube. So I'm going to tell you some more things I learned about meeting my husband, and then you'll learn about where I took my business as once I joined.